What if the reason you haven't reached success yet isn't because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're trying to become something instead of becoming someone? Think about that. Most people spend their lives chasing goals, climbing ladders, and sprinting after some version of success they were told to pursue. But they never stop to ask, am I the kind of person success is even looking for? That question changes everything. Because success doesn't respond to need. It doesn't show up because you want it. It comes to those who are already aligned with it. Those who don't chase but attract. If you feel stuck, it's not because success is avoiding you. It's because your current identity doesn't match the level of success you want. You can't outrun your mindset. You can't outperform your self-image. Every goal, every dream, every breakthrough begins with who you are, not just what you do. Most people never realize this. They hustle harder, burn themselves out, and wonder why doors stay closed. It's not about working more, it's about becoming more. When your mindset, your habits, your energy, and your character evolve, you become magnetic. You stop chasing, and success starts looking for you. This isn't about faking confidence or pretending you have it all together. It's about real, internal transformation. It's about stepping into the version of yourself who already has what you want. That version doesn't beg for opportunities. That version commands them. And here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. So if you want higher results, you must build a higher identity. You must upgrade your standards, your thoughts, your emotional control, your daily disciplines, because those are the signals you send out into the world. And the world responds to who you're being, not what you're saying. The real question is, are you living like the person who already has the life you want? Or are you hoping success will change you once it arrives? Because it won't. Success doesn't transform you. You transform, and then success responds. That shift is everything. It's the difference between staying stuck and finally breaking through. And once you understand this, you'll stop waiting for the world to give you permission. You'll stop seeking validation. You'll realize you have the power to become someone so aligned, so purposeful, so consistent, that success is no longer an accident. It's inevitable, so stay here, because by the end of this video, you won't just feel inspired. You'll know exactly how to build the version of yourself that naturally attracts the life you've been chasing. A version that walks with clarity, speaks with certainty, and acts with unshakable belief. No more guessing. No more wishing. Just deliberate action toward a life that was always waiting for you, on the other side of who you choose to become. This is where change begins, not out there, in here, ready to become the person success has been looking for. Let's begin. You are not broken. You've just been programmed. Since childhood, your mind has been shaped by voices that weren't yours, expectations, doubts, comparisons, and limitations that quietly told you who you were allowed to be. And without realizing it, you accepted those labels. You built your identity around them. That identity became your reality. Not because it's the truth, but because your brain is wired to protect what it believes you are. You weren't born with fear. You weren't born with hesitation. You learned it. But anything learned can be unlearned. And now it's time to take your power back. Your brain has a built-in filter. It's designed to seek proof of who you believe yourself to be. If you believe you're average, you'll notice every failure. If you see yourself as weak, you'll miss the moments when you were strong. That filter, the reticular activating system, literally blinds you to opportunities that don't match your self-image. That's why success doesn't respond to effort alone. It responds to alignment. You must become the kind of person who expects to win, who expects growth, who expects better, because once your self-image shifts, everything else follows. You can't keep feeding your mind a story of doubt and expect confidence to rise. You can't call yourself broken and expect wholeness to appear. Your words matter, your thoughts matter. Every belief you repeat becomes a blueprint your mind follows. That's why change doesn't start with action. It starts with identity. You must speak like the version of you who wins. Think like the version who thrives. Move like the version who's already walking in the life you want. And it's not about pretending. It's about reminding yourself of the truth buried beneath years of mental noise. You are capable. You are powerful. You are becoming. The most dangerous belief is not that you'll fail. It's believing that no matter what you do, nothing will change. That belief kills potential before it even begins, but you're not here to settle. You're not here to survive. You're here to rise, to outgrow the identity that's been quietly holding you back. You're not weak for having doubt, but you'll stay stuck if you keep bowing to it. Your future is waiting on a new decision, a decision to upgrade how you see yourself. Because once that shifts, your energy shifts, your behavior shifts, your results shift. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that the current version of you is no longer enough for the life you want, not out of shame, but out of growth, because you're done shrinking, you're done waiting, you're ready to rewrite the script. Every transformation begins with a decision to no longer accept the identity that limits you, and right now you have that power. You've always had it. The only thing that changes your life is when you finally decide to, not someday. Now, if your identity is the foundation, then your habits are the bricks that build everything on top. The person you are becoming is hidden in what you do daily, especially when no one is watching. That's where your true character is formed. Not in what you post, not in what you promise, but in what you practice. You don't become confident by thinking about it. You build confidence every time you show up when it's hard, every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you act in alignment with who you say you want to be. That's how real transformation begins. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. And if you want to attract success, you must become someone who keeps showing up even when it's uncomfortable, even when motivation disappears, because success isn't built by how you feel. It's built by what you choose when it's hard to choose it. Winners don't wait for the right mood. They train it. They condition their emotions through repetition. That repetition becomes momentum, and momentum builds identity. Each small action becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. That's how habits change who you are, not just what you do. The world responds to consistency. When you move with discipline, you create trust, not just from others, but within yourself. That internal trust is powerful. It silences self-doubt. It gives you an inner knowing that you will follow through, no matter what. That kind of confidence cannot be faked. It's built through action. When your habits align with your vision, your energy becomes magnetic. People feel it. Opportunities are drawn to it, not because you're lucky, but because you've become someone who lives in alignment with what they want. It's not about doing 100 things perfectly. It's about doing a few things daily with focus, with presence, and with intention. Wake up with purpose, move with clarity, speak with conviction. These are not just habits, they are declarations of who you are choosing to be. Your future is shaped by these choices. Every decision you make is either moving you closer to your power or further into distraction. And the most dangerous habit isn't laziness. It's tolerating the small things that slowly break your spirit. Skipping the workout, delaying the project, ignoring the voice in your heart that says you're made for more. But you can stop that pattern now. You can become the kind of person who follows through, who acts even when it's inconvenient, who leads themselves first before expecting life to deliver anything different. Success doesn't come to those who wish. It comes to those who work on themselves until there's no gap between who they are and who they want to be. This is your time to build those habits. One step, one choice, one day at a time. The compound effect is real. And if you stay consistent, you won't have to chase anything. You'll become the one who naturally attracts it. Strength isn't loud. Real power is quiet. It's the calm in your eyes when everything around you is falling apart. It's the steady breath you take before responding with clarity instead of reacting in chaos. That kind of strength makes you unshakable. It makes you magnetic because the world is full of noise people who panic, people who doubt, people who explode under pressure. But the one who remains centered, the one who leads with control and peace, becomes the person everyone looks to. Emotional discipline is not weakness. It's the highest form of leadership. It tells the world, I own myself. When you can master your emotions, you become immune to manipulation. You stop being a slave to moods, triggers, and reactions. You stop letting other people's energy dictate your direction. You stop giving your power away every time something doesn't go your way. Emotional maturity is what separates those who keep starting over from those who rise above. It's what makes you trustworthy, not just to others, but to yourself. Because when your mind is calm, your decisions are clean, you don't chase, you choose, you don't beg. You attract. This is where real confidence is born, not from hype, but from control. You don't need to suppress how you feel. You need to lead how you feel. Emotions are not enemies, they are signals, and the person who can observe without getting consumed is the person who always has the advantage. When anger rises, they pause. When fear whispers, they listen but don't surrender. When insecurity knocks, they hear it but don't let it inside. This control doesn't come from pretending, it comes from practice, and the more you practice emotional discipline, the more grounded you become. Grounded energy is rare, it's powerful, and success is drawn to it like gravity. People feel your presence before you say a word. If you walk in anxious, the room tightens. If you walk in calm, the room settles. That's not accidental. That's energetic leadership, and it only comes from someone who has taken the time to master their inner world. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove anything to be respected. You just need to become so steady that your presence does the talking. And the only way to get there is by doing the inner work every day, no matter who's watching. The strongest version of you doesn't panic, doesn't overthink, doesn't chase validation. It simply moves with clarity because it knows what it stands for. That version of you already exists, but it's hidden under layers of emotional chaos that have been running on autopilot for too long. You have the power to take back control right now, not when life gets easier, not when people start treating you better. Now, because emotional strength is not given, it's built, and once you have it, no one can take it away. That's the kind of power success is drawn to: calm, focused, unshakable. The world reflects what you believe. If your mind is locked in scarcity, no amount of success will ever feel enough. You'll chase endlessly, always feeling like something is missing, even when it's right in front of you. Scarcity is not about having less. It's about seeing less. It's a mindset that convinces you to compete instead of create, to protect instead of grow, to survive instead of thrive. And until that mindset shifts, you'll keep attracting situations that confirm your limitations. But the moment you shift into abundance, your entire world begins to expand. Because now you're not operating from fear, you're operating from faith. Abundance begins with belief. The belief that there's enough opportunity, enough growth, enough room for everyone to win. It's the belief that your value isn't reduced by someone else's success, that someone else's shine doesn't dim your light, that your breakthrough is not on a timer, it's on your alignment. And the more you believe that life is working for you, not against you, the more you start to attract the right people, the right ideas, and the right timing. You stop shrinking, you stop hiding, you stop waiting, and you start stepping into your power with clarity. Scarcity is sneaky. It shows up in jealousy, in procrastination, in playing small because you're afraid of failing. It whispers lies like I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough, or what if it doesn't work? But the real question is, what if it does? What if everything you've been praying for is already circling around you, waiting for you to believe you're worthy of it? Abundance doesn't wait for perfection. It responds to energy, the energy of someone who chooses growth over fear, gratitude over lack, action over hesitation. When you wake up and decide to see the good, to believe in your potential, to speak like you already have what you desire, you shift your entire frequency. You become a magnet for new levels of life, because now you're not looking for reasons why it won't work. You're looking for paths, for windows, for solutions. That's how abundance works. It doesn't make you blind to problems. It makes you strong enough to rise above them, to find opportunity in the chaos, to move forward when others stop. You were not born to live small. You were not designed to stay stuck in fear and lack. That's not who you are. That's who you were taught to be. But now you know better. And when you know better, you do better. Today, you choose abundance. You choose to believe that you are already enough, that life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. And when your belief changes, everything else follows. You're not waiting for success to find you. You're becoming the person it's already looking for. One thought, one action, one powerful mindset at a time. You don't attract success by wanting it. You attract it by becoming valuable, by becoming someone who solves problems instead of complaining about them, someone who shows up ready, who contributes more than they consume, who leads without needing a spotlight. Value is magnetic. It speaks louder than words. It cuts through noise and demands attention not because it shouts, but because it helps. And when you become a person of value, success doesn't need to be convinced. It arrives because it sees something solid, something rare, something real. The truth is, people don't follow titles. They follow value. They follow character. They follow those who consistently bring solutions, who carry energy that uplifts, who listen, who care, who get things done. Being valuable is not about being perfect. It's about being useful. You don't need to have all the answers. But you must be someone who searches for them. You don't need to do everything, but you must be someone who follows through. This world is full of talkers. What we need are doers, those who quietly deliver, consistently, intentionally, and without needing applause. To build value, you must build yourself, develop your mind, sharpen your skills, speak with clarity, lead with integrity. The more you grow, the more you can give, and the more you give, the more space you create for success to flow in. Because success follows contribution. It follows service. It follows those who don't just ask, but offer. When your energy says, "How can I help?" instead of "What can I get?" doors open, trust is built, and opportunities find their way to you without force. Being valuable isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. It's how you treat people when no one's watching. It's whether you keep your word. It's how you hold yourself when things go wrong. Value is in the little things, the extra effort, the honest feedback, the unseen kindness. These things add up. They shape your identity. They create a reputation that speaks before you do. and reputation is powerful. It walks into rooms before you arrive. It creates opportunities that effort alone can't reach. If you want to attract higher outcomes, become the kind of person who delivers higher impact. Not by force, but by growth. By building yourself until your presence becomes a solution. Until your name becomes associated with excellence. Until people feel better after every interaction with you, not because you said something impressive, but because you showed up fully. That's what being valuable means. And when you become valuable, the world takes notice, not immediately, not loudly, but steadily, consistently, and that's how real success works. It doesn't chase noise, it follows substance. Build the kind of substance success cannot ignore, not just for the rewards, but because you know who you are, and you're committed to being someone who makes a difference. That's the person success looks for, and that's the person you are becoming. Your energy introduces you before you speak. It tells the world who you are without saying a word, and it is either attracting the right things or pushing them away. Success doesn't just respond to action. It responds to presence. The way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room, the way you sit with yourself in silence, these are all reflections of your inner alignment. When you are clear, when you are grounded, when your inner world is in order, your outer world begins to mirror that strength. People don't just see it, they feel it. Most people live in conflict. They say one thing, feel another, and do something else entirely. That misalignment is why they feel lost. That's why they don't attract what they want, because energy doesn't lie. You can't fake peace. You can't pretend confidence. You can't mask chaos for long. But when you do the work to align your thoughts, your words, and your actions, you create a powerful force that draws in opportunity. That kind of presence doesn't beg for attention. It commands respect. It doesn't overpower. It influences quietly, deeply, and consistently. You don't need to be the loudest. You need to be the most authentic. You need to be the one who walks in truth, who operates with intention, who doesn't need validation to move. Because when you trust yourself, you move differently. You speak with clarity. You take action with conviction. And people notice, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you're expressing who you really are. And in a world full of noise, authenticity is rare. It's valuable, and value always attracts. To build this kind of presence, you must guard your energy. You must choose what you allow in your mind, what you tolerate in your space, and what you say yes to. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves your response. Protect your peace like it's gold, because it is. When your energy is clear, your decisions become easier. Your direction becomes sharper. Your impact becomes greater. That's not selfish. That's necessary, because you cannot lead from a place of emptiness. You cannot give from a place of confusion. You must fill yourself with clarity, with purpose, with inner power, and let that flow outward into everything you touch. The presence you build becomes your silent resume. It becomes the message you send before the words come out. And when you carry alignment, consistency, and confidence in your energy, success responds, not because of luck, not because of image, but because you've become someone who leads themselves well, someone who doesn't need to chase, because they are too focused on becoming. This is what it means to live in true power, to let your energy speak for you, to let your presence open doors that words alone never could. This is who you are becoming, and this is why success will find you. You are the gatekeeper of your identity. No one else gets to decide who you become unless you hand them the keys. And every time you doubt yourself, every time you wait for permission, every time you shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone, you give away a piece of your power. But you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to rise, and the moment you stop asking the world for approval, you begin the process of becoming unstoppable. Success isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to show up as your true self fully, boldly, unapologetically. Your identity shapes your destiny, not just how you think about yourself, but how you walk, how you speak, how you make decisions, how you face failure. And the most powerful shift you can make is to stop identifying with your past and start identifying with your future. Stop replaying the old story of who you used to be and start writing the new story of who you're becoming. The version of you that has everything you want already exists. It's not a fantasy. It's a future you build by aligning with it today, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You don't need to fake it. You need to claim it. Claim the discipline, claim the clarity, claim the worthiness. Not because you've achieved it all, but because you've decided to embody it now. That's how identity transformation begins, not by waiting, but by deciding. Decide who you are, and then live like it's already real. Your brain will catch up. Your habits will align. Your world will shift, because identity is the root of every result. When you believe in the new version of you, you act like them. And when you act like them consistently, you become them. Don't let your current circumstances trick you into believing they define you. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fears. You are not your failures. You are the one who rises from all of it. You are the one who rewrites the narrative. You are the one who chooses the next chapter. And when you walk as that person head high, heart steady, vision clear, you will feel it. You will feel the difference in how people respond. You will feel the energy shift, not because they changed, but because you did. Everything you want is already connected to a higher version of yourself, one who doesn't hesitate, one who doesn't seek validation, one who leads with purpose and acts with intention. That version is not a fantasy. It's a choice. Every thought you accept, every standard you set, every boundary you enforce, it's either building that identity or breaking it down. Choose the thoughts that build. Choose the actions that align. Choose the identity that matches the life you were born to live. The more you walk in that identity, the less you'll have to chase anything, because when you become it, you attract it. Every single time, you don't need more time, you need more alignment, because when your identity matches your intention, you move with speed and certainty. You don't second, guess, you don't wait for motivation, you don't delay the life that's already calling you. You just move, calm, focused, and without apology. This is the power of becoming the person success seeks. You're no longer hoping to attract something outside of you. You are the magnet. You are the standard. You are the reason the room shifts when you walk in. Not because you say it, but because everything about you proves it. The habits, the mindset, the presence, the energy, it's no longer separate from you. It is you. You've built it. You've trained it. You've earned it. And now the gap is gone. The distance between you and your dream life no longer feels impossible because you've become the kind of person who walks in alignment with that life every single day. This isn't about pretending. This is about embodying. You don't wait for evidence to believe. You believe first, and the evidence catches up. That's what real creators do. They move from identity. They don't perform, they become. There is a level of life that cannot be reached by force. It only opens when who you are aligns so deeply with where you're going that the path seems to rise to meet your feet. That alignment creates clarity, and with clarity, there is no hesitation. You stop asking if you're ready. You stop overthinking every step, you know, because your actions reflect someone who already belongs where they're headed. And success respects that. It gravitates to those who no longer doubt, who no longer waver, who no longer need external proof to take internal ownership. Everything changes when you stop seeking results and start seeking alignment. You no longer operate from lack. You no longer obsess over outcomes. You show up because it's who you are now, because you've decided. And that decision is powerful. It's final, not a wish, not a maybe, a conviction. One so strong that it reshapes your posture, your choices, your presence. And when you walk with that kind of internal certainty, you become undeniable. People see it. Life responds to it. Opportunities that once felt distant now arrive with ease, not because they were missing before, but because you finally became the version of you they were meant to meet. There is nothing to chase when you're aligned. There is only movement, only expansion, only growth that feels natural because it comes from within. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to explain. Your life speaks for itself. Your energy makes the introductions. And your results confirm what you already knew. You've become the person success is drawn to. The person who doesn't hope for a better life, but lives as if it's already real. That's the shift. That's the path. And now you're walking it.